Live from the Business Pants platforms, it's your daily dose of greasy and delicious biz nuggets. That's Matt Moscardi. She's Emma Lurking. Here's what's happening in the woke business world November 1st, 2021. On October 28th, 2021, last Thursday, for all you calendar nerds out there, Facebook officially changed its name to Meta, right? Listen to some of the headlines. Facebook changes name to Meta, will trade under MVRS. Facebook's name change to Meta reflects common corporate tactic. Facebook changes corporate name to Meta. Facebook missed out on the Meta handle on Instagram because a motorbike magazine from Denver already uses it. That last headline is just for me because I'm obsessed with motorbike magazines from Denver. So what's my point here? My point here is that journalism and or headline writers are absolutely failing us. Or maybe it's just me failing me. But either way, it took me until today, Monday, November 1st, to realize that Facebook is not changing its name to Meta. Meta is not the new name of Facebook. According to the company's actual corporate filing, Facebook Inc. changed its corporate name to Meta Platforms Inc. Okay, are we good now? It's not Meta, everyone. It's just like it's not Face or Twit or Micro. It's Meta Platforms, damn it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Meta Platforms.
I also heard that Meta is deaf in Hebrew, so good news for Meta Platforms. That's way different. This morning, the New York Times broke a huge story. 37-year-olds are afraid of the 23-year-olds who work for them. It was roughly 14 scrolls under a 6-hour opera in the pandemic. The Met goes for it headline. I can say I found this, I don't know about you, Damien, but this was a deeply personal story for me as a 42-year-old who basically does whatever Emma tells me to do. But capital markets have yet to catch up to this trend. In fact, 48,000 U.S. directors I looked at, they apparently didn't get the memo that young people with zero experience, as only 3, yes, 3 were members of Gen Z. That's 24 or younger. Those 3 Gen Zers are striking fear into the hearts of the 2% of board members that are millennials and the 27% of boards that are apathetic Gen Xers like me and Damien. Boomers make up a whopping 67% of U.S. boards. Even the greatest generation, that's our beloved 94 and up club, make up 4 times as many board members as Gen Z. Wow. So while apparently millennials are busy being afraid, they're not using the right emojis at work now. Public companies have a clear message. No one cares.
We released an article this week called How to Be Well During College. My answer. Meta mark over there is exhibit A as to why college focus on learning rather than becoming public menaces. The article says the motivation was never state a lot of money or to build a giant company. Rather, they were compelled to solve it and bring the solution to law. Mark's problem was that he couldn't get a girl to date him. Was to build the most destructive weapon against democracy. United States military. Don't become an entrepreneur in college. Learn your shit. Get out. Be a normal person.
Barclays said today that CEO James E. Staley would step down immediately following the results of a two-year inquiry by British financial regulators into Staley's relationship with the disgraced pervert and shithead and dead man Jeffrey Epstein. The Barclays board made sure to point out, however, that it is disappointed at this outcome because he ran the company with such real commitment and skill, and that the investigation makes no findings that Mr. Staley saw or was aware of any of Mr. Epstein's alleged crimes. The board also pointed out that Staley mostly showed up on time, that his coffee breath was not as bad as they claim, and that the former CEO will receive a full year of pay, pension, benefits, and repatriation costs to the United States for having a relationship with the disgraced pervert and shithead and dead man, Jeffrey Epstein, because we protect our own and because you literally have to murder someone to lose future pay in the corporate world. Good for you, Barclays. Despite your mixed messages, I'll give you credit for one thing. You scrubbed that Staley dude off your corporate website with real commitment and skill.
On Friday, Oracle came out forcefully against proxy advisor Glass Lewis's demand to vote out CEO Safra Catz from the board, all the compensation committee members from the board, and non-independent board member Vishal Sikka. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Vishal. I don't know how to say your name. The headline out of MarketScreener.com, Oracle responds to Glass Lewis proposals on board compensation. While I never thought I'd side with Oracle really on anything, I might have to. Since math may not be your strong suit, Glass Lewis, I did some for you. If investors listen to Glass Lewis, the board would have 8 remaining members, 6 men and 2 women. The men would come in at an average age of 74 years old, with an average tenure of 23 years, while the incredibly robust and diverse female representation would have an average age of 58 and a tenure of just 4 years. Glass Lewis will have effectively said, good governance looks a lot like Wilford Brimley. But don't worry, Oracle fans. While Safra Catz, the female CEO of Oracle, may not be the kind of independent voice that investors need, the CTO and 77-year-old founder of the company who's been on the board since 1977, Larry Ellison, is the fresh face of Glass Lewis's diversity policy. Thanks, Glass Lewis, for making it possible. In other news, yesterday, Royal Caribbean, everyone's favorite floating petri dish, had a big announcement. According to NASDAQ's Wire, Royal Caribbean aims to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Hold it if you've heard this before. Net zero by 2050. This after just last week, the cruise line was found to have 11 COVID-positive travelers on a cruise to Cyprus. One of the company's dance troupes also tested positive, the entire dance troupe. And a cruise in Hong Kong had breakthrough cases. If the company's handling of COVID is similar to carbon, we can all rest easy that the environment is saved. Oh, wait, this just in from their website regarding their ability to manage carbon targets. Quote, in 2018, we achieved our 35% emissions reduction target ahead of schedule. Then, from 2019 to 2020, our emissions intensity increased due to changes in our organizational structure, full year of Silver Sea Cruise acquisition, the addition of 12 ships, as well as our suspension of operations due to COVID-19. The first company to ever claim their carbon went up because they weren't doing anything. There you have it. We're all saved from both COVID and climate change. Thanks, Royal Caribbean.
And lastly, in my favorite story so far in 2021, respected architect Dennis McFadden recently resigned from his post at the University of California, Santa Barbara, because a new dorm being constructed is, quote, unsupportable from my perspective as an architect, a parent, and a human being, unquote. Wow. Why am I reporting on an architect quitting over a creepy dorm, you ask? Because that creepy dorm was designed by Warren Buffett's BFF and Berkshire Hathaway's vice chair, Charlie Munger.
Isn't he a lawyer?
Yeah, you heard that right. And before you ask, no, Charlie Munger is not a trained architect. But he is a trained, egotistical billionaire, and when he donated $200 million for the dorm, it included the stipulation that his blueprints be followed exactly. Munger Hall will house 4,500 students in 1.7 million square feet, the building would be the world's most populous dorm in the 8th densest neighborhood globally. But here's the fun monger kicker. It would have just 2 exits. And 94% of students would not have windows. Rooms without windows will have virtual windows that simulate daylight. Charlie told Bloomberg that everybody prefers natural light, but it's a game of trade-offs. And that I'd rather be a billionaire and not be loved by everybody than not have any money. My God, I love that story so much it blew out my vocal cords.
Quote. That was our juicy bag of biz nuggets for today, November 1st, 2021. Happy Halloween yesterday. That's Damian Rollis and Emma Lurkin. I am Matt Moscardi. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more ugly, disgusting biz nugs.